Hi everyone, welcome to the Brigade.
Hi.
My name's Ken,
I'm Emily.
and today we're covering Broadchurch Season 3, Episode 4. But before we get into that, I'm just going to read some quick feedback about Episode 3 from Christina in Germany.
Thank you, Christina.
She writes, "You talked about Tom and his friend watching the video on Tom's phone, and you talked about the boys. Maybe I missed it, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but Michael is actually one of the boys.
Oh.
He's the one who said she'll be at the park, which makes the theory about Daisy being in the video a bit more possible." And I went back and checked, and sure enough, Michael is one of the boys, which means there's that connection there.
Yeah.
I am sure it can't be a coincidence that Tom and Daisy know Michael. Depending on when you read this email, we might already have an answer. But we didn't actually get anywhere on that point in episode 4, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
So that's a lingering, that could be a point for, further into the season. Is like all these damn teenagers might have something to do with the plot after all.
Yeah, well, I think that we kind of are inching closer towards it, which we'll talk about more.
Oh yeah, we're on the back half of season 3.
Yeah. Now it's all we're over the roller coaster hump, and now we're on our way down
To the final 4.
Final 4. That's weird.
So, episode 4 kicks off at Xhampton, where Alec, Ellie, Beth, and Trish are basically there to retrace the steps at the party. And this induces in Trish like flashbacks for the viewer. I think about like 2 minutes into this episode, I think the Sweeners party is more or less killed because we get to finally see the party in person.
Yeah.
And this is a birthday party. It's an extravagant one with a live band and stuff like that, but which I think killing theories is almost like one of the main things that this episode does.
Yeah, which was definitely necessary because even if you think about season 1, I feel like the first 3 episodes were really like the build up, and then season 4 is when you start kind of eliminating the suspects.
Right, and if this moves anything like season 1, you can eliminate a few suspects per episode, and then you still feel like, by episode 6 or 7, hopefully we're still feeling like, oh no, who did it?
Yeah. Although this scene actually, the retracing steps reminded me of in season 1, they kind of do a similar thing with where the whole town has Tom on the skateboard and they skate and like they retrace Danny's steps, what they think it is, and like it doesn't jog any sort of memories for anybody. It's not helpful at all, but
it is a very beautiful scene.
It is,
now that I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then in this one, it definitely jogs memories very painfully for Trish and for us.
In one of those memories, she's like, "Oh yeah, well I remember here in the kitchen, I was trying to be helpful. I brought in some plates," and I can't tell if Trish is lying about this or misremembering because she is quite drunk.
Yeah,
and we see in the flashback, I got his name off IMDb. Chaz the cook. It looks like Trish is stealing food from the kitchen. And he's like, "Do you mind? We're trying to work here." Which I didn't know. I guess time will tell. Is this a lie? Is this misremembering? But if anything, this makes the interview with Chaz feel more relevant. So it's like, okay, so Chaz the cook and maybe the band members too. Maybe everyone who gets interviewed at some point will have a second purpose in the story somehow. While going through Xhampton Manor, Alec notices a wheelbarrow.
Yeah,
it wasn't there before, and at first the camera zooms in and there's a paddle, and I'm like, oh, that's very strange, isn't it? And
cricket bat.
It wasn't until they talked about it a second time. I'm like, oh right, cricket.
Weird paddles. Yes, yeah. Americans watch Broadchurch.
Yeah, if you see a cricket bat in an American home, that's suspicious as fuck.
Yeah. What do you think that would be at the American version of a party place like that? Would it be like a badminton racket or like a croquet mallet?
a croquet mallet's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it was just the type of thing that I'm like, oh yep, cultural differences. um, so yeah, we'll return to the wheelbarrow in a second.
Hmm.
So in another flashback, we see that Ian and Trish's argument was
Yeah.
not really about cigarettes. Maybe there's something about cigarettes in there at some point, but it's really more about Ian feeling like Trish is trying to embarrass him, and Trish feeling like offended that he brought his like younger girlfriend over, right?
Hmm.
Um, I'm not going to lean in here both ways because they both say things that's going to be hard to take back, right? But that's just another like, okay, these two, gosh, who knows what their marriage was like, but they're definitely not going to patch things up now.
Right. Yeah.
So that takes her outside during her smoke break, and as she progresses through these memories, she gets to the lake, the waterfall, and then she induces like the most traumatic of her memories by getting down in the dirt right there at the waterfall. And not for nothing though, she doesn't endure that for nothing, because she does remember that she smells alcohol on the man.
Hmm. And there's that light.
There's a light, which smelling alcohol on the attacker, I just had like a eureka moment.
Hmm.
That should rule out Ed Burnett,
Oh.
who claims he doesn't drink,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Unless he was lying about that. But if he really doesn't drink, then
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, I just read a theory on Reddit just before recording that I liked until just that moment, which was someone thought like, oh, well, maybe Ed was driven by jealousy after finding out that Jim had slept with Trish,
True.
who Ed seems to have a thing for, but she clearly remembers like the smell of alcohol, maybe vodka, on her attacker.
Hmm.
But that's Trish's breaking point, and then Beth takes Trish, and they kind of ex-nay get out of the scene. We don't see them for a bit. But this light, Alec and Ellie kind of, they think it's likely that the light came from a small cottage's security light, but they don't rule out that it could be a phone or a torchlight.
Hmm.
And the phone's a really popular theory on the internet too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think could also make sense. Like the attacker could just be also holding like either they had help and someone else was flashing the light in Trish's direction to, not only is she tied and gagged, but more or less blinded, right? So there's that. But I guess the whole phone thing also ties together some of the video stuff that's out there. Let's call them the porn based.
The teenager plot lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it the teenager plot lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because some people now are thinking that maybe since it is potentially phone based, was Tom somehow involved, which I really don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Right. I'll add a note to talk more about the teenage plot at the very end of the podcast here.
Mm-hmm.
But so Alec and Ellie are talking to the owner of Axhampton Manor, and his wife collected all these things around the grounds in a wheelbarrow, including the cricket bat, which is one of a set of two, and the other is completely missing.
Right.
Right. Now, I even read theories that people thought the Axhampton Manor was suspicious, but I think he's just he and his wife are well-meaning, but completely oblivious to what harm they could have done to the crime scene just then by removing all these like toys and the bat and who knows what. So this made me think though that, and I don't know if we'll have time to find out over the next 4 episodes, but if the cricket bats are like a thing at this party, right? Like, okay, there's a set of 2 cricket bats at Exhampton Manor, and this attack is pretty premeditated, right? To have to have the fishing twine,
right? There's a lot of supplies.
The gag, the condoms.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking is that I don't think the attacker would have improvised the weapon. So I think the attacker is probably someone who's familiar with Axhampton and could have, known that there's going to be a cricket bat around or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a thought, though. It's right then that Katie calls Ellie to inform her of a sex offender who's moved to Broadchurch that fits the profile because in his rape trial, the victim was bound and gagged, same as Trish. I guess Katie also, off camera also mentions that the anonymous text message came from a website that requires logins to send texts.
Yeah, is that actually a thing that's possible?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And it doesn't surprise me, first of all, that, there's a website that would require you to log in to do that. But I think the fact that it was a website that was so easily compromised that, there was no way this is going to be, a serious person
right,
who did that. Like, the person behind it Googled anonymous text messaging right before doing that,
Yeah, and the person, are we talking about who it was right now?
Yeah, sure, we can just get into it.
Sarah. It's kind of fitting that it was, random Sarah, because it's just oh yeah, I figured, why not? And it's girl.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so they head right on over to Aaron Mayford's house.
Yeah.
Oh,
And yeah, he's just aggressively creepy.
Yeah. This whole interview with Aaron the rapist is gross.
Yeah.
Aaron's answers are kind of off-putting because he knows of the rape, but he's she was in her 50s, didn't read anything about me, so that's gross.
Yeah.
But Ellie is also, I don't know to read it as both Ellie and Alec aren't really conducting this as an interview so much as a chance to dunk on him.
Yeah.
He's come on, I deserve a second chance. And oh, did your victim get a second chance? It's they're antagonizing him while interviewing him, which I guess is just a cop thing to do, but
yeah, especially for them, because I feel they're both just so over it at this point of and it seems like last week was I read a really interesting comment on Reddit. I don't remember who the user was, so I'm sorry. But they basically said that it seems like each of the seasons has a real theme going. So the first season was about what would you say this first murder? I guess.
No,
I feel like it wasn't. It wasn't that.
The first season was the media.
Media. That's right. This is correct. Yeah, media. And the second season would be about justice, and the third season seems to be about sexuality. And so last week we saw Alec just being really, really disgusted with men. And we were seeing a lot of husband and wife relationships that are kind of off. And so obviously when one of the things that kind of takes Alec and Ellie aback when they first come to the house is that it's answered by a woman and a child, not by this guy. So this guy has a family, and so that's kind of weird.
And is more or less, it appears, gotten his life together as much as someone on the sex offender registry could get their life together.
Yeah.
If you can't have a good job, he's going to be doing data entry at a computer.
Right.
But the whole family thing, right? He's got more than his victim might have right now. But there's a really good exchange here between the two of them, where he's basically "Hey, I'm not a rapist," and Ellie's well, that's not what the jury says, and he just throws back at her.
Juries get wrong, and it's just ooh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
But Aaron's alibi for Saturday night was that he was fishing from night until 6 or 7 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Alec asks to see his fishing equipment, and he does, but not before seeing the grossest man cave in the show yet.
Yeah, Ian has a gross man cave too. What's up with that?
Yeah, so Ian, Aaron...
No, not Ian. Not
Leo.
Ian. Leo. Why? Yeah, 3-letter names, yeah.
Yeah.
So, he seems like an Ian.
Yeah, I like this detail. And I like that this time Alec brings it up instead of just glancing at it. He says, "Oh, it's quite a gallery you have there." And Aaron's "Oh, it keeps me motivated."
Yeah.
Which is another gross answer.
Yeah.
But as much as I I like this character detail. It's like this is the second time in a season that the show's like, this is how we're going to show that this man is gross. Is that he's taped up
True.
pictures of bathing suit women on the, I don't know.
No, it's true. It could be kind of lazy, but
Yeah, but you have to tip your hand at that, and like a pile of porn mags is almost is too outdated, and like aside from like Alec tapping the laptop and porn coming up, it's like I don't know how you'd say like, oh, this guy ogles at women all the time.
right. It's shorthand, and it makes sense why they do it.
Mm-hmm. So next, Ian. Oh, speaking of Ian, he calls his daughter Leah on the phone, trying to convince her to give him Trish's laptop.
Yeah.
And there was the theory that maybe he was like somehow using like webcams or something to spy, and I just thought that maybe this could be a thread that like perhaps Ian was collecting some kind of data to maybe make a custody case against Trish somehow. I just can't help but notice that like Trish is at home with her daughter and Ian is out.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe the whole reason he got Leo to put anything on the computer in the first place was to like try to catch Trish in something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's either if it's definitely something creepy and something kind of malicious, but he probably doesn't think that it's super malicious, but like also recognizes that it's creepy.
And there's pressure on him to get it out of that house.
Yeah.
And I wonder, because what's driving his pressure? Just the fact that this rape happened at all, maybe he thinks there's like a ticking clock for him to be able to like get in there and get it before the police have a reason to search her laptop.
Yeah.
It's true. Or maybe it's just due to the circumstances, like, on any other week, maybe it would be easier for him to grab the laptop while she's at work and and his daughter's at school. But since she's not working, it's just like, when's he going to get in there? And
yeah.
I really don't doubt that we'll get a scene of Ian's sad ass attempt to break into the house.
Yeah.
I almost thought we were getting that this week, but it didn't happen.
I don't know.
And Leah, I was thinking Leah, ever resistant, denies her father the chance to like, I liked that she was like smart enough or resilient enough to not to be like, Dad, you can't just take Mom's computer.
Right. Yeah. She's definitely, it seems like kids are consistently more smart and more aware of their surroundings than the adults, and especially more than the adults give them credit for.
Yeah. Did you have something to say about the laptop, though? I felt like I just kind of maybe ran over you for a second.
I think I did. I can't really remember.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I think it was just something about, yeah. Well, we also don't know exactly what kind of software it is, and if he's just being maybe paranoid and has nothing to do with the case, because there's also I mean, we haven't really revisited it, but it's either episode 1 or episode 2 ends with him like putting his clothes in the washer and like scrubbing his shoes and that kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe he's just a very paranoid guy.
Yeah, well, I think he's paranoid enough to know that someone was raped at the party, and since he blacked out at the party, he was like, I'm not taking any chances, I'm just gonna wash everything.
Right.
Which, I don't know. If you black out and you're like, I don't know what I did last night, I better just destroy all the evidence. Yeah, it's either someone who's like so incompetent, and again, I think Ian is disarmingly incompetent in a lot of ways that I've just never taken him too seriously as a threat. Or you're either hella suspicious and know what you're doing, or you're so incompetent. And I think we have every reason to believe Ian's the latter. In this next scene, we got like a really choice Alec and Ellie interaction here, where it's like, Ellie's like, oh, how did you sleep? Alec, oh, not well. What about you? I dreamt of being at the Axhampton waterfall. And Alec is just like, right, well, you should go home an hour earlier tonight. And she's like, wow. Was that supportive boss, Alec? Because it was awful. And
Yeah.
that was like my, I think, maybe first genuine laugh of the episode. Maybe the
Yeah.
only genuine laugh of the episode. No, no, wait. We have the date coming up.
Yes, the Tinder date.
Um,
Yes.
so they have that little conversation on the way over to Kath's house.
Yeah.
And
I will say
before.
just oh sorry, just
Oh, yeah.
tangentially before we get to that. I feel like because I'll text you sometimes when I'm watching the episode and I feel like the things that I texted you about, well, one of them is coming up.
Nige.
Yeah, Nige. I said, "Oh God, Nige! I'm happy he's back." Said no one ever. And then the other text I sent you were about Alec on the date. So I feel like I only really text you about these weird little moments, and it's just funny about certain things where I just have to be like, "What?"
Yeah, we'll never talk about like the plot points.
Right, right.
Like
We save it all for here, yeah. But we like
Yeah,
the random little things. It's just like, huh?
we have to talk about like, yeah,
The
Nige
little,
coming
yeah, the
back.
little character moments of and just like Nige, like what?
Yeah. Yeah, so before Kat's interview, this is the weirdest, and I think some people maybe rightfully called it out as like not playing out convincingly in the end. But she's all like, yeah, well, we can't let the rapist win, so we're throwing a football.
Yeah, I was gonna text you
game.
about that too and be like, this is really weird.
Yeah, like we can't let them win is something you say about like terrorists and
Yeah.
like going to a game.
Yeah.
But like, oh, there was a rape in town, and you know what? Everyone who's not the victim needs to feel better about themselves, so we're gonna go play footy.
Do you
What?
do you think Kath is suspicious?
Yes.
Yes, me too.
Okay.
Me too.
I definitely think yes, yes, yes. We'll get to that at the end, but basically, if you have a solid Kath is in on the rape theory, it has to do with okay, like your best friend slept with your husband.
Yeah.
You might not, this is a loveless marriage, but you still might feel betrayed by that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like and throwing the party is just like or throwing the football tournament in the guise of we can't let him win is like a small tip of the hat to maybe her being a little bit like if this is really hitting
Making
her,
herself feel better, yeah.
yeah, then if this is really hitting her, then she might not feel inclined to organize a football tournament, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so she throws that little tidbit out there, and then she gives her account of events. She arrives at Axhampton around 6, believing her husband to be there all afternoon. She mentions like a few details about like, oh, I got there, people arrived early, but I don't know how much of that would be important.
Mm-hmm.
She mentions she started working for Ed Burnett 4 years ago, and Jim hated that from the moment it started, and I think he partially resents that the only reason she has to work at all is that his garage is doing poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So like she seems like not that she like maybe she wasn't working before, but it sounds like she kind of just picked up this job 4 years ago, and maybe up until that point the garage was doing okay.
Yeah. Their marriage is a mess, basically.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, so Kath is pretty drunk, but she still knows that Trish and Ian had a fight, and that Ian and Sarah also argued. She also drops that Ed is fond of Trish, and would have talked to her all night if Trish didn't get Kath to come over and like rescue her, which is a classic party move. And then, more or less, Ellie asks about, can you please describe your marriage to us? And she says, oh, it's loveless. And Ellie is like, care to elaborate? And
And she's
nope,
like, no, not
that
so
covers
much.
it. And I kind of, I put this in the suspicious column, that she kind of throws Jim under the bus.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one more thing I forgot to mention. I didn't think it would be relevant until now, but Jim disappeared like on Saturday night. I don't know where he was between like 11 o'clock and like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Right.
Which, if you're Kath,
Yeah.
and you want revenge on your husband and your best friend for cheating on you with your husband, then you might do everything you can to I don't know. You might do everything you can to set up your husband for this rape.
Right. And especially if you also know that lots of people at this party were super drunk and people really aren't going to remember seeing Jim or not seeing Jim and what time it's going to be. You can kind of start throwing stuff out there and people can't so much deny it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I don't know, just one more explanation for how everything could have gone down, but couldn't have Kath grabbed a condom out of the back of Jim's car?
Yeah.
And then boom, you have that explained, and then suddenly, like isn't that moment just waiting to happen when like the red condoms are discovered by somebody, and then Alec and Ellie turn their attention to the gym again?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, anyone in town could buy those condoms, but still.
Right.
Occam's razor. Those things have to come back somehow.
Yeah.
So the next scene, kind of weird too, but I liked it just because, again, I think it was like disarmingly creepy behavior, kind of like how Ian acts. But Ed Burnett creeped outside Beth Latimer's house.
Yeah.
Who knows for how long, just to see if he can use Beth to send Trish a well-meaning message.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. Everyone's here for you. Whatever you need.
Which makes me think that he sent the flowers.
I thought that might have ruled him out.
Oh,
for
really?
The flowers.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because why didn't he just knock on her door if he really wanted to see her?
Or, like, why would he go through all this trouble to get Beth to deliver a message that he already delivered with the flowers?
True. This is true.
I foresee a scene where we are talking to a florist at some point.
Yeah.
Because Alec and Ellie gotta get to the bottom of these flowers, and then...
Right, and they have the cards, so they probably know. There can't be too many florists in Broadchurch, I would assume.
And then the florist's husband also cheated on her. Okay.
Plot twist, the florist is a man.
The florist's husband is Sarah's ex-husband. And they both hanged out at Sandbrook. And also...
And also Joe Miller, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess what the thing I like in this scene is that it's dry comedy to me, at least. That Beth is like, no, that's against the rules. No, that's against the rules. Can't do that either. And it just kind of ends with like Ed confirming with her, oh, well, did you hear about the football game? Because I'm heading over. And Beth's like, yeah, I'll be there. Like, see you later, creep.
Bye.
Bye.
See you at the super cool football game that we're all gonna play.
The whole town's going.
The whole town's going. Yeah, that's another one. That's like one of those.
We have nothing better to do.
Yeah, it's one of those like cliche moments where you're just like, I don't think so.
Where'd you organize a football game? Down by the beach with ginormous pebbles?
Of course. Didn't they do something similar in season 1? Didn't they? I feel like they did something similar.
They might have had, like, events down by the beach. I can't quite remember.
I think so. Unless I'm just thinking about the bonfire thing that they had at the end for Danny.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
That was, like, tear-jerking.
Yeah, it was.
I will save it for the season 1 recap. So, what happens next is this guy named Nick Folks, who I've described as postal worker, / private detective.
Yeah.
He went on a bit about the glory days of the Postal Service.
Yeah, it was a weird kind of
interaction.
Yeah, very weird.
I'm going to lean on private detective, I guess.
Yeah, I
guess.
Like,
or maybe just a postal worker who can kind of do that on the side.
I guess. But, like, where's Mark getting all this money to do this stuff when he's a plumber? I mean, plumbers can make a lot of money.
Plumbers make a lot of money.
Yeah.
He also could have used some of his
book money.
settlement.
Yeah. And his book money, too.
Though it didn't seem like he took the money, right?
Yeah. But I guess he has book money from the book deal with Maggie.
Yeah. But, so Nick gives Mark an envelope, I'm assuming, full of information about Joe Miller's whereabouts.
Yeah.
At a 50% discount for your losses. Which I really just, like, if that doesn't ring more bells in Mark's head of, like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
And Nige shows up.
Yeah, and suddenly Nige.
Which I think the fact that Nige is like, oh, I thought that was you. I kind of got the feeling that maybe they haven't seen each other in a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
So, although don't they? Do they not do the plumbing thing together?
You're right. They might be coworkers. So it's just like weird to be like, oh, I thought that was you.
I don't know.
But yeah, so Nige is going towards the football match because of course.
Because of course, Nige has got to show up for the football match.
Yeah. Well, Nige and Mark both do, right?
Yeah, and Beth.
They're both playing. Yeah. That is the very next scene. Is this football match?
No, but wasn't the next scene the person on the phone? The woman who then sees the newspaper and she's like that
happens a bit later.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't worry. I got you covered.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, at this football match, things get really fucking childish between Ed and Jim.
Yeah.
It's like football's happening. Oh, they're having a fight.
It's just the lads.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. Then Trish shows up and nobody retains their cool.
Yeah.
Just like
everyone just stares and it's like, hey.
There's the
Trish.
Like everyone's like, yeah. It's like nobody but Kath has the state of mind to be like, hey, get back to acting like everything's normal.
Yeah.
So Clive, Michael, and Lindsay are here. I had to go. I don't think anyone's called Lindsay by her name, but Clive's wife, Michael's mother, that is Lindsay. I also missed this. So yeah, I guess Clive was going by Lucas, which is his last name. He didn't just like come up with Lucas as like a cool nickname. So it's the Lucas family. It's like Clive Lucas, Michael Lewis, and Lindsay Lucas. So I've settled. I'm going to call the cabbie Clive for now on.
Yeah, it seems like Clive is more, Clive.
Mm-hmm. This was a point that some people were pointing out as like being weird. Is like, okay, why did the cabbie show up?
Yeah.
To the football game? The explanation I like best is that, like, okay, so Tom Miller's there. Mm-hmm. Tom could just invite his friend Michael.
True.
If Michael's going to a football game, then, it's a small town. I'm super willing to forgive stuff like that. Why not just have everyone there, right? So,
yeah, if we're gonna have this weird football game in town, which is improbable, we might as well just have everybody there.
Yeah. So, Paul is asking Lindsay about Michael. Like, oh, how's he doing after like being suspended from school?
Yeah, it's like, what?
Yeah. So Lindsay never heard about this, and which is. Does Michael not care enough to tell Lindsay, or what? Right? It's like one of those things. Like one of the parents must have slipped on it, so like sliding some like paper slip. So it's probably Clive. She says like, oh, I'm afraid of losing my boy. Like at 14, he needs a dad, and I'm getting strong, Danny Latimer vibes from this whole scene.
Yeah.
Like Michael, like Danny, has a very childish father who's not going to be the strongest support for him, and he's hanging out with Tom, so like I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel bad for Michael. I feel like bad things could happen to Michael, and he's connected to Daisy, and so he's going to have a bad encounter with Alec at some point. I think maybe not bad, but
yeah. Probably. There will be probably an encounter.
And maybe the most important part of this whole football sequence is that at the very end of the game, when they're like closing things up, they take a closer look at the football netting and see that Leo was the one who put it all together, which makes sense, fish nets, football nets, whatever. And just in the middle of talking to Leo, Ian walks up and is like, oh, come on, Leo, let's get this thing, help me out with this thing. And they're like, oh, you two know each other, huh? And, they're like, oh, yeah, well, Ian used to teach for Leo. And so they're like, okay, well, we need that boy's alibi. So we can expect a Leo interview at some point.
Yeah, probably next week, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and if you're putting all the blocks together, I think Alec and Ellie knowing that Ian and Leo have a thing, that leads to somehow the laptop becoming discovered. But that's just a hope. Put that on the board in the predictions section. The next scene I have is Alec requesting and receiving special permission for surveillance on Aaron, the rapist. Katie, ever asking the important questions, asks, "Is there any reason for this?" And not to burst Alex's bubble, but "I don't like him" is not a good reason to use police resources this way.
Not so much. Also, the worst stakeout ever.
Yes, yeah. Top comment on the Reddit discussion, and deservedly so. Yeah, I didn't even write that down because it's like one word of dialogue. Her buddy cop, her partner, drinks a whole thing of soda, so he's bound to have to leave and get more food and drink. So already, I guess, tipping the hat that okay, this is a bad stakeout crew. But yeah, it was just sitting parked across the street with the lights on. I'm surprised they didn't get the cops called on themselves.
Yeah, it was questionable choices were made.
Yeah, I'm willing to write it off as like, because like okay, quick improvement is like have them put some effort into it, but still get discovered by Aaron. So like the outcome's still the same. So it's like it's more like well that they could have made that look better, more than like oh this is like a bad plot point. It's more like they could have done something to make that look better, but whatever.
We'll forgive it.
It's still pretty funny to laugh at though.
Yeah, it was silly, but even one of the best things that you can definitely say about season 3 is that even in these like silly moments, like with this, you know, the football game and with the stupid stakeout, like it's still much better than all of the stupid stuff that happened in season 2.
Mm-hmm. We'll give it that.
We'll give it that.
Especially since it's all terminal stupid shit.
Yeah, right. These are just like one and done, you know.
Mm-hmm. We're barreling towards the end, and anything you didn't like from season 2 just doesn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so they get the special permission. Katie's basically given the job to do that surveillance. And then Alec tries to leave work at a normal time without arousing suspicion, and he fails. And the whole like police office finds it funny that he's trying to get out.
And it's glorious.
Yeah, I feel like 90% of Alec and Ellie's lives in that police station that we don't see on Broadchurch would play out, I don't know, like a cop sitcom. Like yes. they're just solving the small dumb crimes, and Alec is constantly getting called a shithead off camera. So
I think that's probably a pretty fair assessment, but yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so he's going on his date, but at first I thought he was going to spy on Daisy and the boys.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna have like dinner with Daisy or something, but then he wouldn't really be shifty about that.
Yeah, because we cut from Alec trying to leave the office to a shot of Daisy alone at home, and I'm like, oh no, Alec, don't do that. And there's a knock on a door, and I'm totally expecting it to be the boys, but instead it's Chloe. Yeah,
and we're so happy.
Yes, as someone on Reddit put it. Again, thanks, anonymous Reddit people. It's one of the genuinely good people in all of Broadchurch.
Yeah, part of the squad. I am all here for a Daisy-Chloe friendship.
Yeah, and I think she kind of pushes forward the Daisy maybe had like a sex scandal or something back in Sandbrook, because she's like, I know who you are, I know what happened. You're new in town, you can use a friend. Would you like a friend?
And she's like, yeah, definitely, yeah. And I think hopefully, because Chloe's smart and she's tough and she just knows stuff, and so I feel like first she can really help Daisy, and if Daisy's only hanging with the boys, then maybe she can have Chloe, and Chloe can help her kind of figure this stuff out.
Yeah, I'm also all about the families mixing a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because like it's not just what are the Latimers and the Millers doing? It's like, okay, get the Hardys in there too.
Right, because I'm sure that Tom and Daisy probably don't have any connections, like other than potentially like, you know,
having Michael in common as a friend.
Right, Michael, and also like if there's like a sort of sexting thing going on that Tom is aware of.
Do we have an age for Daisy?
Daisy? I don't know. I think I don't know.
you would maybe guess like 16, 17.
I thought she was like 16 in season 2, which would make her 19, which is just not right. So maybe, I don't know. I feel like we're
Yeah.
operating on kind of a weird timeline.
Yeah.
Because even Chloe, she was like 16 or something in season 1. 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was just thinking because she is hanging out with a 14-year-old boy. If she's hanging out with Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
I
a
don't
thought. Meanwhile, Alec is going on the most realistic Tinder date ever. Zoe opens up with the line, I recognized you. Like, oh, I recognize you from your profile picture. Which like, I sympathize. Like that really seems like such like a I need to say something to kick this thing off. And then Alec, being the guy who's early to the date, is like, here's a menu. You should look at it. You should also order something to drink. Do you want something to drink? Tell me what you want to drink. I love it. It feels very organic, very, very real. And even though Daisy declined to mention that he is a single father,
Right.
I think the date still seems to go well. Like, if him having a kid was a deal breaker, I think we would have found out right then and there. Because she could have gotten up and left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all on board for, like, Zoe coming back and something like that. I like this as a subplot in the final 4 episodes of Alec Hardy's storyline.
Yeah.
Like, some semblance of him, like, moving on and finding someone else besides Tess.
Yeah. Although she did kind of look like Tess. When she first walked into the restaurant, I was like, oh
like
no, Tess is back.
Like a blonde version.
Didn't Tess have blonde hair? Like brownish blonde?
I thought she was brunette. Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought at first he was rekindling his romance with the inn owner.
Oh, Becca Fisher?
There you go. Wow.
Well, how did I remember her name? And I don't remember anybody else's name.
I think maybe we brought it up last week.
Maybe.
As far as like characters who have like disappeared. Maybe her inn just went out of business.
Maybe.
That'd be a really clean way to just be like, yeah, there's no room for a hotel anymore. So while Alec is at dinner, there's a very different dinner happening at the Latimer house. Segue.
Here's
Mark tries to cook an apology dinner for Beth, which is still a little bit creepy. Even though, like, apparently Chloe's kind of in on this. Like, I'll leave the house, Dad. I think it could work. Cook Mom dinner. The only thing that makes it a little bit creepy is it's still like inviting yourself to
right. And she even says like you can't just come over and start cooking dinner. You can't.
Right. She does warm up when he promises that there's no more agenda, but to sit down and talk.
Yeah. Although the weird thing for us then watching that is that we know that even if there's no agenda right now currently being discussed, there's still an agenda because
Mark is now leaving her out of the Joe Miller plan.
Right.
Which I wrote down here got me thinking that depending on what Mark's Joe Miller plan is, this could be like the last meal they have together in peace.
True.
Because if he goes over there and, tries to kill Joe, that could land him in prison. Or if he goes over and sees Joe and gets killed, or who knows, Mark is not going to come up with anything good here. So I think if you think about it as like a last meal, these happy memories are really melancholy. Because like Beth is remembering like, oh yeah, you last cooked me fish on like my 28th or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah. Meanwhile, Ellie is walking down a creepy alley for the second week in a row.
Yeah, and I was like, girl.
I think this is just like how you get around those streets, though.
It's true.
Yeah. And it ends even worse this time because instead of just walking by an innocent man and his dog, she bumps into Alec.
And hilarity ensues.
Because he's coming back from his cheeky date. And, so, like, Ellie has like a great smile on her face this whole scene, not just because she bumped into Alec, but also there's a DNA match from Trish. So the swab they did on, gosh, was it Tuesday night? The swab they did on Tuesday night came back with Jim Atwood's DNA.
Do we know which day this is now?
I was trying to count them up. They're still saying last Saturday. I don't think we've hit a week since the attack yet.
Okay.
I think if we even went back and counted up the days, like they're saying in this episode, oh yeah, the flowers are dropped off last night. So I think at most maybe 2 days passed in this episode. And
Okay.
like, by episode 5, we might hit like a week since the attack. I bet some things even line up, like Monday being episode 1 and Tom was in school or stuff like that. I'm sure we can like track things that way, right? But yeah, we knew, and Alec and Ellie should know that this DNA was from Trish from Tuesday, but they very much still question him as if like, okay, well if you didn't rape Trish on Saturday night, what was your DNA doing on Trish? And he fesses up that it's not from Saturday night, it's from Saturday morning when, the two of them slept together for the first time on the night of Kath's 50th.
They also claim for the first
It
time.
was the first time. Right.
We don't technically know that.
Right. I mean, yeah, everyone lies to Alec and Ellie even when they're claiming clean about something. And I suppose if you want to just you add everything together, right? Like, okay, would Kath go so far as to do all this premeditated rape stuff if this was the first time? Like, she would have to find out, then do all that planning.
Right. It doesn't. Then. Yeah, it doesn't so much add up for it to just be the first time. If Kath is the one who's behind this.
Right. So, gosh, there are things there. Right. That's a big if, but I do like the theory. So right after Jim's interview, Trish confirms Jim's story with Alec and Ellie and hands the flowers over. We get a second look at that card. It does look typed, so I don't suspect fingerprints or evidence or anything like that.
Yeah, probably not. Their best bet.
It's going to be like the florist interview at some point.
Right.
So, moments later, right there in the car, Ellie gets a text saying like, oh yeah, the credit card used to send the text to Trish was Ian's. Though we kind of covered this already. Turns out Ian's girlfriend Sarah used his card to do it before she knew about the rape, which only raises more questions, but that's the end of the scene.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to know what's the follow-up there is like, okay, you out of the blue texted her, shut up, or else.
True.
So
I guess, I guess it could have been about, like, the arguments that they had in the party the night before, but I don't know.
Right, yeah, so, gosh, who knows? Or maybe Sarah sent it intentionally vague in order to fuck with her. True.
Yeah, she seems like she's got maybe a couple screws loose.
Yeah, Sarah could have some screws loose. Also, since I'm ruling out the Kath and Ed Burnett are like the perpetrators because Trish smelled alcohol, which I think rules out Ed. Maybe there's a Kath and Ian scenario here that makes sense.
That's what I was gonna say earlier, and that also makes sense for why he's so. It's not just like general paranoia. He's, afraid of what's on his computer. He was very methodical in cleaning off his clothes. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it could be that Ian, or since Ian maybe was spying on his wife, that maybe he's aware of who he was or who Trish was sleeping with, and thus wanted to, like maybe he gave that information to Kath, so maybe Kath was already aware of all this stuff.
True, that's true.
Yeah, and there are different levels of culpability, right? Like, Ian could have, through spying through the laptop, told Kath about the affair, but not been the rapist.
Very true.
He could just be the catalyst that drove Kath to this. So yeah, that's just an idea. In the next scene, Paul is extremely not looking forward to being Mark's company. It's just like a painful, like, hey, where you been? I haven't found you. And it's like, did you only look at the church? Because that's not the only place I'm staying at. So he's not looking forward to being Mark's company, and extremely not looking forward to going on a murder field trip with Mark, which is what I'm going to dub this.
Murder field trip.
Yeah, it's Mark's murder field trip. I found Joe. We're going to just, you know. Yeah, so I think Paul's attempt to talk him out of it is ill-fated. If anything, the only person Mark can definitely get on board to do this type of dumb shit is Nigel. Or Nige.
Yeah, Nige seems definitely dumb enough.
Yeah. What's he gonna do, right? He's got a crossbow. He's equipped for murder and stuff.
He's equipped for murder.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So the next scene is this telemarketer or call center woman. So the woman at this call center job just she has the Broadchurch Echo story about about Trish's rape, and then she just that scene kind of ends on a cliffhanger until the very end of the episode. But right from that moment, I was like, all right, I think Maggie's storyline has basically already paid off. The Broadchurch Echo did something that is going to push things forward.
Mm-hmm. Can I make a confession?
Sure.
So I for a second, I guess it's just like my overactive imagination, just like like plot twist. So when they cut from the Joe Miller discussion to like random location with like a random people working at a random phone bank, I was like, oh my god, it's Joe. He works here somewhere. And then it goes to this woman, and I was just like, is Joe? Did Joe get like complete reconstruction surgery? And then I was just like, oh no. So that was my crazy theory for about 3 seconds, and I was like, nope.
I love it. What you didn't know this whole time was that Joe didn't leave town forever. He just transitioned.
That's kind of what I was. I didn't know where the phone, the place necessarily was.
Yeah.
And then it had Broadchurch Echo, and I was like, okay, Broadchurch, like maybe he's been hiding in plain sight. And then nope, very wrong.
Basically every week there's somebody who tries to figure out how Joe can be involved.
Right.
Is Joe the rapist? Did Joe do this? Did Joe do that? I'm on the team that is like, and I just shared this small tidbit on Reddit. If Joe comes back, it's only going to be Mark's doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be because Joe did something dumb or... Like, I think Joe is probably just dealing with his exile, however he's dealing with it. And I'll just spill my theories now instead of waiting till the end of the episode. But, like, I think if Mark goes and finds Joe Miller, there's, like, 3 ways it ends. Like, Joe has his life together in such a way that Mark realizes, oh, Joe's over this. Joe's living his life. Maybe I can just get mine back together. Mark goes, finds Joe, and tries to kill him, succeeds, and then goes to jail because there's no way he's going to cover his tracks.
Right.
Or 3, Mark goes, finds Joe, tries to kill Joe, fails, gets killed by Joe. Like, in my head, those are like the only 3 outcomes that could happen here.
Yeah, so. Nothing is going to be good unless Mark decides to not and somehow is able to make peace with whatever has happened. That's the only possible good outcome.
Yeah, well, no one's convinced him yet. Mark's going to have to come to peace on his own terms because no amount of people telling him this is a dumb idea has worked yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But this is the episode. We talked about it a little bit last week, and I asked, like, okay, what do you think the good end to Joe's arc is, or Mark's arc and character development? And I think as someone who's left incomplete, you're either going to complete yourself or die or end up in jail because you're a broken person. I think those are the three possibilities. Is like maybe at the end of Broadchurch, there is no way for Mark to feel fixed and whole. Like, it's just one way of thinking about things. But on a brighter note, Bob is back. I don't know his position. I'm just going to guess, I don't know, constable? Isn't that kind of like a rank?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bob the cop is back. He's been in every season of Broadchurch.
Yay.
And he tells Ellie that this call center lady is in... and she asks to speak to a detective because, upon seeing the Broadchurch Echo's story about Trish, she decided to come up forward with the story that 2 years ago she was in a field walking home, and then she was tied, gagged, and raped. Boom, end of episode. So, I just wondering if you had any thoughts on that before I tried to improv my own thoughts.
I mean, I guess these aren't my thoughts necessarily, but more thoughts that I've read. There's definitely a theory that, is his name Andrew?
Aaron?
Aaron, here we go.
Aaron the rapist.
Somehow I remember Becca Fisher, but I don't remember Aaron the rapist. Yeah. So there are theories that maybe she was the victim. But I feel like probably not because
he came back to town 10 weeks ago.
Right, and it wasn't a field the way that he tells the story at least. And there was a conviction for that, so I don't think necessarily maybe that she would. And she said she never told anybody before, so I don't think that is true. I don't think that's. But I don't know.
I feel like it's connected. I feel like it doesn't have to necessarily be the same perpetrator in her case as in Trish's case.
Right.
But the details of that case, or like the methodology, could have been shared between two guys. Yeah. I mean, if anything about the season, it's to teach us like we shouldn't put too much of our trust in some of the human characters, right?
Yeah.
Like there are some seedy people who maybe Trish's rapist knows the rapist in this case, and was like, oh well, here are the basics. You're gonna need, this type of twine for tying, this type of gag for this type of,
yeah, it's very
blank
possible.
for blank. There are also still tons of characters we haven't met yet.
Right.
Who this could still potentially be. Like, I'm not saying for sure, right? But, like, I don't know, Leo still seems suspect. We haven't met Leo's girlfriend.
Right, if there even is one.
Right. Yeah, so, I don't know. Yeah, it's right at the very end of the episode. You don't even get a name for her, so it's just like, how are we supposed to come up with much more? Except wait in anticipation and ask ourselves, okay, what does this mean for Trish's case? Not that Alec and Ellie don't have a reason to try to solve this one too. But while that's cold, Trish's is getting colder. Like, yeah, it's still a hot case. It's maybe not even a week old. So I think we're all hoping that this woman's coming forward will help us get to Trish. But yeah. So the only theories I had to cover here, I think we already all talked about, which is like my Mark gets murdered on murder field trip theory.
Murder field trip.
The Kath and Ed theory, which I had rolled out like mid podcast, maybe like 15 minutes in.
That was some good work there.
I liked the Kath and Ed theory. I like the idea that the reason Ed and Jim fought was that Jim did some kind of like swaggy bragging, like, oh hey Ed, like you really got the hots for Trish, huh? Well, guess who like slept with her this morning? That's what started the fight, and then Kath uses that as a pawn to get revenge on Trish. Except the drunk part, right? So
yeah,
that doesn't work. And something I thought a lot about after this episode still was that it might be like an episode 7 or episode 8 reveal, but whatever Katie told her father.
That's true. We still don't know.
We still don't know. But I guess one of the reasons I liked the Kath and Ed theory is that we've seen the two of them have conversations privately before.
Mm-hmm.
When Ed was like, "Hey, did you tell him about the fight?"
Mm-hmm.
There's that. And since the two of them work at the shop, there's a lot of time for them to just kind of work together on, mutually working alibis.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now, Kath is my strongest.
Mine too.
Yeah, it's funny because I can't pin it on a man yet.
Yeah.
But
I think there's definitely more than one person involved because like people are pointing out on Reddit, and like I noticed too, that was a long way to walk from from the party to that pond.
Mm-hmm.
And I get, a man could carry her, but there would also need to be whatever, unless it had already been planned out and the stuff was already there. But he would need to be carrying her and the twine. Right.
Well, yeah. So we still have twine that got randomly picked
yeah.
up. Right?
And the weapon.
Yeah. So weapon had to be used. You had to know you had to know the cricket bat was there.
Yeah.
Assuming it's the cricket bat.
Right.
We have reason to.
Right. There was twine. There was a gag.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff. It's a far distance to carry her.
Or drag her.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't know how long she was knocked out, but I feel like...
Still, it's not easy to drag somebody either. I mean...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah. We haven't dragged many bodies, yeah.
But in video games, it's really easy. But yeah, I seriously... it's funny. Like, if I had to choose my male suspect, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable ruling out people than I am ruling in.
Yeah.
Or saying definitively.
Yeah. I think for me right now, the most likely would be Kath and Ian with possible involvement by Leo through Ian.
That's I like that trilogy of people.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's also then too. I think that the Kath part of it is pretty solid because that's still kind of twisty, but I don't know how the other folks fit in. I mean, we've seen two different murder cases be solved on Broadchurch, and in season 1, Joe was really a complete surprise, whereas in season 2, the Sandbrook players, they were very few of them, and it was more just kind of figuring out who did what in that particular scenario. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is going to fit more into the latter or maybe kind of borrowing from both of like Kath as the surprise, and then the other folks who are involved are just kind of figuring out who did what.
Yeah, the motive part, like I think we have all the evidence to make Kath's motive make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's the motive of the man in the situation that's still, like you. Like I'm going to be in Alec Hardy's position here, but like. You have to hate or desire power so much to just agree. Like also, this is someone Kath has to trust.
Right. Yeah.
Unless
it is just Kath all by herself somehow.
She couldn't have left the party though.
Yeah. I don't know.
So yeah. We'll just. I think the last thing I'll expand on is in the teenager plot point in the Daisy video. I kind of like the idea that the thing that happened in Sandbrook that got Daisy kicked out, and we talked a little bit about this last week, but is, maybe she had a boyfriend or significant other in Sandbrook who she sent private photos or videos to.
Yeah.
Or
I think
or against her knowledge had a video made.
Mm-hmm.
And that got shared around her school, which got her kicked out or, pressured to leave Sandbrook. And now that's followed her to Broadchurch.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael, having seen it through Tom, who knows? Maybe that's a point, too, is that maybe Daisy thinks she's found friends in Broadchurch
True.
only to realize that, like, oh, no, these guys have also seen the video. They're not here to be my friend. They're just here to, like, sleep with me or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I got on the teenager study. I very much... like is a strong word, because you have to... I feel like liking the storyline almost is like endorsing, like, yeah, I like that idea that Daisy's doing that. But, like, I just feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Also, given all the thematic things going on in this season. Mm-hmm. Like, the Redditor who kind of tied everything together, saying, like, yeah, almost everything this season has to do with sex or sexuality is, right on the nose. At the point where you even got the teenagers in that. So, but yeah, I guess that's all I have for episode 4.
Yeah.
But before we wrapped up, I wanted to read, since we asked for it, some Grace Point feedback, or some notes about Grace Point. So, if you want to, talk to us, give us your episode 4 predictions, thoughts, or anything like that, you can write us at cbrigadepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, please write to us.
And basically, if you have something that is about the previous episode, you should get to us between Wednesday and Sunday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
If you got the feedback to us on Monday, then we can even do it like the episode of, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so since this is about Grace Point, the U.S. remake of Broadchurch, I kind of wanted to put it at the very back, so that if you wanted to skip Grace Point spoilers, you could skip the email, and also just so we put Grace Point at the end, get our Broadchurch first. So, Joe Lola writes in about Grace Point, writing, "Hi Ken and Emily, being the fanatic fan that I am, I watched Grace Point. Some of it I watched side by side with Broadchurch to compare and contrast scenes.
Look at you.
Mm-hmm. It was an interesting experiment. I watched with curiosity about how 2 Americans would adapt a very British show. In the end, it failed. Not just in my opinion, but with Fox Network, who canceled it after 1 season.
True.
The most major mistake was that they didn't bring back Olivia Colman over for the redo. Chris Chibnall wrote Ellie Miller with Olivia Colman's name written on the corner of his whiteboard as his ideal Ellie. The remake put Anna Gunn in the role, who just couldn't do the nuances that Olivia could. She played a tougher Ellie that forced David Tennant to make Emmett Carver harsher and angrier than Hardy. He couldn't play to his full range because he had a co-star who picked one emotion and stayed there. Then, put David Tennant's bad American accent on top of all that, and he doesn't seem as good as an actor as he is. The rest of the Grace Point cast fell short for me as well. Michael Pena was uncharacteristically wooden as Mark, and I never warmed to the American Beth either. I kind of like Mark and American Beth. They couldn't swear on American TV, so the impact of some of the scenes were really lost. Bloody Twitter became, "Who told that journalist?" Yeah. Onto some technical points. The clips in Grace Point had to be digitally created because Victoria, British Columbia, where they filmed them, didn't have them. Which seems like a bummer, right?
Yeah.
Also, yeah. They write, the music didn't fit either. Grace Point had guitar twains that made me think of a spaghetti western, not an emotional murder mystery.
Westworld, but Broadchurch.
Yeah, well, American music. Cowboy stuff.
Of course, even though it was shot in British Columbia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be Maine, right?
I don't know.
Or something like that.
I feel like it was supposed to be Northern California or something.
The beautiful establishing shots of Broadchurch were greatly reduced or eliminated in Grace Point. The sequence at the very beginning of episode 1 showed that all the clocks had stopped in the Latimer house. That was not repeated as well, if at all, in Grace Point. When Danny's murder was confirmed to the Solanos, they all faced away from each other, quite detached. Contrast that with the Latimers, who looked at each other, held held each other tighter and were so distraught that Olivia Colman as Ellie broke down and cried with them. And this last part goes into some of Chris Chibnall's inspirations, but I think that's probably just about it. But I think the lack of Chris Chibnall is Jalola's final point on what made Grace Point more or less a failure. Mm-hmm. I will say I also know how Grace Point ends differently.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Yeah, so I think making Joe not the explicit murderer,
it's kind of lame.
Yeah, and I think most people write it off as like, well, we needed to have a different ending so that it couldn't get spoiled for the American audience or something like that. Yeah, I just don't like it as much.
Yeah, no, I think it kind of exonerates Joe.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, so I was thinking, not that I would never rewatch, or not that I would never watch Grace Point. I just think I would do it at some point in my life when I really didn't have much better to do.
Yeah. I could see myself doing it. I don't know if it's on streaming anywhere or anything. I could see myself doing it.
Yeah. It's recent enough that...
Yeah. I could see us doing it, like... Because we did have a really long stretch where we didn't have any shows to podcast about. I could see us doing it in that kind of a gap, but I mean, already our priority is going to be season 1 of Broadchurch.
Yeah, and then, well...
As well as Fargo. Well, Fargo first, and then...
In order,
one.
Yeah. Fargo season 3, Broadchurch season 1.
Yeah.
And then we'll just keep our ears peeled for anything else that comes up.
Yeah. I'd be down for possibly Westworld season 2, but that won't be for a while.
Oh my god, yeah. That would be like 2018, late 2018.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, I'd probably be on board for that.
Yeah.
That's so long from now.
Yeah.
Anyways, dear listeners, thank you for sticking with us.
Yes, thank you.
And please, again, write in your feedback to supergadepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, please.
And I think that will do it for this week's edition of the Sea Brigade.
I believe so.
All right. Well, Emily, thanks for coming and doing the podcast.
Oh, always, of course.
And we'll talk to you next week, listeners.
Yes, please send us feedback.
Yeah. Bye.